morning everyone present here. I welcome Mr. Murali Ilavardi sir, software developer at Accenture Bengaluru, to give a webinar topic on exception handling. Welcome you sir. And I request now Mandal sir to give a brief introduction about our speaker. Please sir.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. On behalf of RMD Engineering College, I would like to welcome Mr. Murali Elavati. He is a senior associate and software engineer in the Accenture at Bengaluru. He have 4 years of industry experience and 2 years of teaching experience. He is also a postgraduate as well as undergraduate too. And he is having a sound knowledge in computer science core subjects. And today he would like to discuss a topic related to object-oriented programming. And I would like to inform the students, kindly make this session useful. And if you have any questions related to either subject or for industry exposure also, you can ask. So he is answerable. So he is a well-known person from my past 5 years. So kindly make useful of this session, students. I would like to hand over the session to Mr. Murali Elavati. Murali? Murali, am I audible? Murali, am I audible? Murali? You are not audible. Kindly disconnect and connect once again. Yeah, Murali. No, right now you are not audible. Your video is visible.
Hello.
Yes, Murali, audible, but bit noisy. Am I audible, Murali? It's
Yes.
echoing.
Hello.
Yeah, now it's clear.
Okay. Yeah. Hello. Can we start, Madam sir? Hello.
Yeah, now it's clear.
Is it fine now?
Yeah, good. It's good now.
Yeah. Sorry for that glitch. I think my system had some glitch. So thanks for that introduction, Mandal sir, and the other ma'am who has given me introduction. And today I will start with the topic of exception handling, and I'll try to give some intuitive idea about what is exception handling, and we'll see some code as well. And in the real-time scenario, how so it's nothing but it's a concept related to the errors, how we handle in the program which we've written. So basically, I'll just give an idea about what are the errors will be there. So the basic understanding about that, and after that, I'll get into the topic. Okay. So if we see the concept of exception handling, so the concept of exception handling. So in that, mainly we'll be dealing with the errors. Okay. So when we go to errors, actually, so what are the different types of errors we have? So which we need to be handled when we try to develop any application, or if we trying to develop any program. So how do we handle them? Okay. So mainly we have three different types of errors. So the first one is compile time error. So compile time errors will be there. And the second thing is logical errors. And third thing is runtime errors. So these are mainly three different type errors which an like a program contains, right? So coming to compile time errors, so compile time errors are nothing but the errors which we find while doing compilation of a program. So like for example, so you missed to write a semicolon, or so instead of a standard statement, you have some syntactical mistake. Like if you have defined some variable like int, some data, and you missed to put the semicolon at the end. right? So when we do the compilation process, so what the compiler will do is it identifies the errors and it throws in which line the error is being thrown. Okay, this is a compile time error. Okay, coming to logical error, what is meant to be logical error? So there are no like syntactic errors here, but what happens is the logic which you have written for a program is not correct. Like for example, you written a program for addition. If you are giving an input as 2 plus 3, okay, the output should be 5. But in the program which you have written, if you're getting an output as 6, then this is some logic mistake is there, right? So, these are called as logical errors. So the program even will run even if we have a logical error, okay, right? So coming to the next thing, what is a runtime error? Okay, so in the runtime error, like what happens is the code gets compiled. So there's no issue with the code. Code will get compiled. Okay, but while running the program, we'll get an error. Like for example, if you're trying to divide, if you're writing a program where if you're trying to divide two numbers, like if you're trying to divide 5 by 6, right? This is like a valid input, right? So it will gives the output. Like for example, if you're giving another input as 6 by 0, right? This will throw an error because a number cannot be divided by 0, right? We know that from our mathematical understanding, dividing by 0, right? Right? Dividing by 0 error, right? So this errors we need to handle in programs, right? That's where the concept comes, the exception handling. Okay, so coming to compile time errors, so compile time errors are easy to find, right? Easy to find. You can easily find it out. Like while doing the compilation process, we'll come to know what are the errors are there. So we can easily identify the errors, right? So that so we can easily identify them and we can correct them and we can start building our application, right? So coming to logical errors, so these are somewhat not easy to find, but we can find them by using giving test inputs, by giving test inputs, right? So if you're coming for like if you see in the development phase how the application development goes, like application build team will do the building of an application. Once application is ready, there's a separate team called testing team. Testing team. So what they'll do is they will try to give all the different test cases. Okay, test cases, all possible inputs, and they'll verify whether the logic which you have written is correct or not, right? By seeing that, we can easily identify errors, okay, by giving the inputs, correct? Yeah. So coming to the runtime errors. So runtime errors is what happened is user given the input is wrong, right? So what happened is like so it's not a mistake of a user, so who has given the input. Okay, so user may give any input, but what our application should do is every error, every input should be handled properly. Okay, you may be thinking that it's an user issue. No, it's not an user issue. As a developer, if you're developing any application, we have to take care of every possible scenario, every possible input. Okay, okay. So and also, other than this dividing by 0, what are the other possible like errors we can see? Okay, I'll give some like few examples as well. Like for example, there will be a database connection error, right? This this is also possible. Like the application which you have developed, okay, it may connect to the server and with the database and inserting some information there, like updating information or removing information or modifying something. Okay, so the application will get interacted. Your application which you have developed will be interacted with the DB, the database. Okay, if something happens here between the connection, okay, this is also an SQL error, like SQL connection error. This also should be handled. Okay, so and also the one more possible of error is network connection error. So if you go for Java, there are different classes are there for every type of exceptions, like SQL exception error is there, exception class is there, and for network also we have. For every thing we have inbuilt classes which you can extend them into your program, and you can display them to the user. Okay, so what's our idea here? Okay, so what's an idea of exception handling? If you see the core concept, like if you have a program with like for example, take a statement 1, statement 2, statement 3, and statement 4. Just consider we have a program with 4 statements. Okay, so at this statement 2, we got some exception. Okay, if we are not handling the exceptions, what happens is once the program comes to the second statement, once the exception is generated, automatically the program gets stopped. Sorry, our intention should be like the program should run even if we get an exception. The application should not stop, right? So it's a very basic concept, right? If you go for any like a banking application, so because of one exception, the whole total banking application will stop. That should not happen. Even if the exception is getting, the program should continue. The application should continue executing. Okay, clear? So how do we handle this? Okay, so we handle this using the concept of exception handling. Okay, so let me give you an example, a program to understand. Basically, whenever in the real-time industry, like whenever the application is built, the complete code of an application is being divided into 2 things. One is normal statements, which doesn't have any issue, like even the input is different or input is wrong, there's no issue. There is no chance of exception there. So there's another kind of statements, which is critical statements. Like I said, divide by 0. It's a critical statement which need to will stop running. Consider a simple program here. Like if you are defined, I'm not defining anything like variables and everything here. Just directly I'm giving an like a pseudo code to understand it. Okay, like for example, if you define a variable a which has a value 5 and variable b which has a value 2. Okay, so now what you're doing is you're trying to you're trying to print the like you're trying to print the division of this one. Okay, system.out.println. What you're trying to do is you're trying to print 5 by 2. This is a valid statement, right? So it will execute. Okay, and suppose you consider there's another statement at the end, system.out.println, just saying something like bye. Okay, once the program gets executed until that, so it stores that program is completed. Okay, so now if you try to run this program in your Java, like any compiler, so first statement will get executed, second statement will get executed, third one also will get executed, fourth one also will get executed. So what is an output here? What is an output we get here? What's the value of 5 by 2? It will be shown here, and also boy will get printed. Okay, suppose consider instead of 5 by 2, we have a value here 5 by 0. Right? What happens here? First statement will get executed, second also will get executed, but coming to third statement, it throws an error here. Right? Will the fourth statement will execute? No. It will not get executed. The program stops at this statement. It not continue executing. If we have 10 more statements or 10 more constructs which are written after this line, all the statements will not be get executed in the application. Okay, so to execute, even if we get an exception here, if you want to execute all the statements, then we have to use the concept of exception handling, and we have to try to handle that. Okay, so how to handle that? Okay, so mainly to handle the exceptions, so we have the concept of three things, mainly three things. Okay, one is try block. Okay, one is try block where we are trying to we are placing here the exception code. So whatever the exception code is there, we'll place into this try block. Okay, and catch block. So once the exception has been raised, how to handle that? Okay, that will be placed in catch block. Finally, there's another block called finally. So whether the exception is handled or not, that's not a problem at all. The final block will be executed always. Okay, this should be ordered, should be followed when you're trying to write a program. First there, after catch block should be there, after finally should be there. This order should be followed. This is an, you can consider as a syntax which we have to follow. Okay, so like I have written a code, so I can show you like how it works. Okay, so I'll just stop sharing this presentation and I'll go back to some code which I've written in online. So let me bring that up. So yeah, just gone for an online compiler and I've written a code here. Okay, so if you see here, if you try to see, so what is the program which I've written is very simple thing, very simple basic program which I've written here. Okay, so if you see here, so we have created a class. Within that, we have created a main function. So within the main function, so I've written three blocks. One is try, other one is catch, other one is finally. Okay, finally is not a mandatory thing. So even without a finally, if you write a statement, it will get executed. But it's the best practice to write the code which you have to execute. Okay, but whether it has been exception been handled or not, so it is better to write in finally. Okay, so what is happening in the try block? You see, in the try block, we are trying to divide a number with another number. Okay, here there is no issue at all, right? So definitely it is possible. If a user gives an input like 100 by 2, it's a valid input. Okay, so what will the program will do? Automatically it will print the whatever the value is being generated by the division. Okay, so catch will not execute here because there is no exception here, right? So and finally we will get execute. Okay, so let me run that program. Yeah, if you see, so output, what are the output as the input is valid, so it prints the output and finally we get executed. Here the exception is thrown. No, there is no exception at all here. Okay, but finally will get executed always. Okay, now let's go with another case. Now our input is 100 by 0. Okay, now if we try to run this program, what happens? Exception is getting raised here. Put some code in this try block. It tries to, if exception is getting raised, automatically catch block will execute. Catch block will execute, and catch block we have defined the arithmetic expression. So if some error is thrown, automatically the arithmetic expression, that thing will be executed. It will be printed here. Okay, it's not like a Java.log like language dot arithmetic exception by 0. So it's like a standard defined error which is represented in the library. Instead of that, you can tell the user like, hey, you cannot use a divided by 0. Okay, you can tell that as well. So that user knows like what mistake he has done. He cannot give divide by 0 value. Something like that. opposite of standard define, because user doesn't know anything about programming, right? He doesn't know anything about programming. He is a user who will be using the application. So if we give something like Java, that exception, arithmetic expression, you don't know anything. But we have to give them like the like a statement, print statement to them, like an output to them, saying that you have not input. So automatic user knows that whatever the input he has given is wrong. So he tries to give the valid input. Okay. So this is how the exception handling happens. So it is always, whenever you're trying to develop an application, it's always important to check with all possible scenarios and try to see so whether you handle every exception. Okay, here I have given a very but if in industry there are various things are like SES handled. So there is an input-output exception which need to be handled. Like for example, if you consider our application is using some file which is located in some drive. Like for example, we've written a program which is accessing a file present in a C drive. Okay, so the file was there for last 1 week. So today morning, user has deleted that file. Okay, when we try to run that application again, what happens? Application tries to find out the file. Correct. So if the file is not there, automatically it throws an exception, right? So because of that exception, the complete program will stop. The application will not continue running. Okay, that's also one important thing to be handled. Okay, SQL exception should be handled. Input-output exception should be handled. There are many things are there if you go into the exception handling, right? So things are there. Okay. So I think I have covered a very basic idea about exception handling. I think apart from this, I think getting into too deep, it needs more, so which requires a lot of time to be discussed. I think if you have any other questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, I idea about like as you are in BTech, so like you're studying, so I can give about how to get into industry, skill sets are required. So I'll give on that. Have any questions? We discuss about that as well.
Can you give some idea for our students, because these students are belongs to electronic and electrical department? So how they have a chances to get into the software industry? What are the things they have to follow? Can you give some tips? Murali, I think I'm not audible to you. You have to raise your volume once. Murali, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible, sir.
Yeah. We have some plenty of questions out there. We have so many jargons are going in our mind. What we have to think on this industry opportunities. Shall we proceed?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. The first thing is these students are belongs to electrical and electronic engineering department. What is the opportunities for them in their tech companies? what is the tips you would like to give for them to accommodate best in this tech industry?
Yeah, like I would say, like if they are in the like a pre-final year, like in the third year, I think the suggestion what would I say, uh, they should start like so applying for some internships from now onwards. There are a lot of opportunities out there where a third year student also can join some internships and get some industry exposure before trying to like sit in the placement as the final year. So I would recommend everyone to be strong in any programming language, and like it can be anything. It can be C or Java or Python. So any one programming language, they need to be very strong with the fundamentals. So that they should start applying some internship somewhere else in some good place, and they should get some exposure from these. They can sit into the placements in 5 years, so it helps them to get a very clear understanding like what is in the real-time industry. So them to clear the placements as well, and so this way I think they can get a good opportunities. And I would also recommend every student to like have a profile in LinkedIn and start having like uh, because there are a lot of opportunities in LinkedIn, so they should have an account, and like they should try to apply. There are a lot of opportunities have been posted in LinkedIn through like various companies. They can apply from there, and they can easily get the opportunity.
Yeah, other than
I hope
something like
I answered you.
LinkedIn, what are the other social networks or need to be updated by themselves to have a better exposure? Like they have to do mini projects. Is it necessary to get a job in top MNCs? Like in GitHub, if they have to be
Yeah,
develop the code
obviously,
or mini
like
project and they have to be deployed, is it mandatory to get a job,
see, definitely.
or it's something
Uh,
like they has to
See, it's
expose
definitely
themselves to others?
it definitely it will be add-on if they have an project which like some mini project which they have done, and if they place the code uh, uh, yeah, they can
Yeah,
easily
one of our
showcase
students,
the code in GitHub, and yes, yeah,
yeah,
please sir, go ahead, sir.
one of our students, Santosh, is having some doubts. So not only Santosh,
Okay.
other students, if you have any doubts, you can raise your voice and you can get clarified, because he is expert of teaching as well as in industry. So you have both experience as in teaching as well as in the experience with the industry also. So he had better tips to give you to get easily to accommodate in tech companies or MNCs.
Sir,
Yeah, you
good
can
morning, sir.
question. You can question to
You can question to
Mr. Murali.
Mr.
He will
Murali.
help
Yes,
you
sir.
to. Okay.
Yes, sir. Sir, good morning, sir. Hello,
Yes.
sir.
Asking.
Sir, in problem in
Yeah, yeah.
programming, it is easiest way to solve a problem is finding the easiest logic that I have to do. But I can only find the indirect process only, sir.
Yeah.
I think I am not suitable for programming. Is it correct? Am I correct, sir? Or any other skills to find the easiest way
No,
to
I don't think so. See, if you want to get into an IT industry, so the best thing is you should have a very good programming ability. So you're saying like you're not able to program, read the logic easily. So I think it's
yes,
not
sir. I
if you
can
can
I can't find
learn within yes.
I can't find the easiest logic to find the problem, sir. Solve a problem, sir. I can only find the indirect way to. solve the problems.
Santosh, am I audible?
Sir, yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. For this question, I can answer you or I can suggest you
Okay,
like
sir.
you require a plenty of practice. Only the practice makes you perfect. So you have to took related problems in regarding to the topic which you are having short of knowledge. So that will help you to make a much more understanding.
Okay,
The best way and easiest way is use a very simple program. First, you have to understand what is the thing happening between that.
okay, sir.
Once you get clear with the simple example, so like that for exception, we told only for divided by zero. Similar to that of we have so many exceptions. One more exception also told by Mr. Murali, which is like file is not found. So during that case, what will happen? Okay, so for that only he always used to took a very basic thing only because he's already in teaching. Students may not be have a complete knowledge on these things and all. So only the mm, teacher will help you to just guide you the basic things only. So then you have to be cooperate with your timings and you have to be have a complete knowledge. You have to spend time to have some difficult problematic questions to be answerable. Then only you can able to get the topic completely understandable.
Okay, sir.
Okay, any other
Sir,
anybody yes, yes, please.
is skill track is enough for practice, sir? Practicing programming, sir.
Which one, ma? I can't get it once
Skill
again.
track domain is enough for
Skill track
practicing
domain.
programming.
Yeah, it's enough for practicing, but in that they have only few on test case. So if you have some more wide knowledge, then you have to be go through your own laptop also. Or the best thing is practicing a program through skill track will gives a complete knowledge on the topic. But once you build an application, then only you will have a complete idea about what is the software and what is the application, how the third party is going to be used that, or the end user is going to use that software. Then only we can able to identify what are the bugs in it, how the other persons can able to hack our um, website and all. So then only we can focus on this security point of issues. So before pointing this security point of issues, I already discussed in the class like abstract. So if you define any method in abstract, it cannot be easily accessible with the object. It requires some subclass. So these concepts will get to remember, and we can able to give more security to our methods and class functions which is operating in our application. Do you
Okay,
got it?
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hold on a minute. I think the guest got disconnected. Uh, yeah, Murali, are you? Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you give some tips to prepare a resume which will be liked by the most of the in tech MNCs? Because the students are very new to prepare this resume. They are lagging how to prepare and which kind of resume will be attract by the MNC person or any HR. Even apart from this education period, they also require this one to build a strong resume will help. The first, I think this is the first showcase of their knowledge through the papers is on resume. So I think and you would like to give some more tips as well as some more ideas how to make efficient or attractive resume for our students.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So, creating a resume is it's not an like a easy thing. So we have to see like multiple examples. You can go to an internet and search like resume samples for software developer, and don't copy paste on something. Don't copy the document and add your skills to that. Don't do that. So try to see like multiple examples for any position, if like for a software developer or software engineer. you take like examples and see that how they've written, the different resumes have been prepared. So from that understanding, you'll get an idea like how they prepared the resume. Okay, then try to from like experience, try to create a resume on your own. Okay, try to create a resume on your own, then try to add the details which are very like known to you. Like if you see in resumes, they'll write all the programming language, all the subjects. It's not. You should try which you know. If you know C, you should write only C. You should not write C++ there or Python. So you should write only the skill set which you care about. Uh, and only it will be easy for a recruiter to assess your skill set. Based on that, they will give the opportunities which matches to you. And once you have prepared the resume, I think it is good to verify student and work review student with friends. And I think it is so much. Yeah, so they have an experience like so they can review it and they can tell like what are the mistakes or what are the things you can change, like wordings you can change. And once it has been reviewed, I think it's good to like use that resume. It's not an just copy paste in the resume. You have to create it from your own. Then only you understand like what are the things you have to add there, what should not be added. So I think it would be better for them to with the resume. Yeah.
Yeah, on behalf of students, I would like to ask one more. Is there any prescribed format to create a resume, either like a single page resume or multi-pages resume or something like that? Is there any specified format which may attract?
There is no specific format like a resume should be readable, like it should be very clear. We should not add like very like complex words and everything. It should be very simple. As a for a fresher, the two-page resume will be fine. So there's no need of writing multiple pages of resume. The two-page resume will be enough, like one page, which gives the complete skill set which you have and the projects which you have done. The second page gives the information about you. I think that would be enough for a fresher.
Okay, students, do you have any doubts regarding this?
Sir,
Yes, Santosh.
what are the languages, programming languages used in core to sustain in that department? Core department.
In your you're saying asking about electrical department, right?
Yes, sir. Any programming languages needed to
Yeah.
sustain in core department, sir?
The programming language, if you electrical department, I think I'm not exactly, I cannot say because I'm not aware about that much. But if you're trying to create some embedded devices and everything, definitely you need an understanding about C. You should have a basic. See, it's not a specific programming which you have to learn because programming language will come and go and different programming language will come. But you should know the problem solving skill. You need programming language like Java. Okay, you have to be very good at fundamentals about how you have to write logics and everything. Once you know one programming language, learning other thing is easy. Your thought should not be like learning more programming languages. Your thought should be like being strong in any one programming language because the same thing will be there in even other programming languages. Only the change will be the syntax, right?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Murali, one more doubt for our student whose name is
No problem.
Aditya. He's asking a doubt like, is the MNC companies are skipping the COVID passed out students for their vacancy because they are not fit or they are not completely eligible or they are not like have a strong knowledge in the coding? Is that like that? They're skipping their vacancies with the passed out
There-
student?
Yeah, there's nothing like that. See, ultimately, one thing matters is how much you skilled you are, like how strong you are in the fundamentals. Okay, it's not like COVID passed out. It's nothing like that. If you're strong in the fundamentals, I think you have a good opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, Aditya, do you got it? So there are no such things are there. So they are not skipping the COVID passed out students. They required only the sound knowledge on the basics from the freshers. So except that, they are not looking much more things also. So today in the competitive world, more number of students are getting passed out. They require only the sound knowledge in the basics. Okay. So during the lockdown period also, the only thing is going on means without any fluctuation, which is called software industry, because they are working more than what they would require from their home. So that's why, so you don't get worried about these things, and you have to be focused on how to be get strong with your programming language. Then only you can easily place in the MNC companies. So even I can give an example that Mr. Murali Ilavati also got an opportunity during this COVID period only in this Accenture. Before that, he was working in some other. Okay, so you don't get worried about this COVID situation and all. Okay. What you are asking? C or C++, which is better? So there is no programming language which is better or which is not good. So how you are being strong with that programming language? So I just want to be make sure with my statement, Mr. Murali, is it any specific programming language is required, or whether we have to be strong with the programming language?
Yeah. So this way, like if you like C or C++. So C, actually C is like not an object oriented. So C++ is little bit of an object oriented programming language. So I think it would be better if you know one non-object programming language, objective programming language. Like if you're good at C, it is fine. If you already as well, that is very good as well. So I think it would be better if they know two things. Like one is like a structured programming language which is not object oriented, and other is an object oriented programming language like Java or Python. Everything is fine. C++, Java, and Python. Yeah.
One more point I would like to say to our students: there is none of the company is not required. None of the company is not required with like C or C++. Whatever the projects were offered by the client, the company is looking on that platform only. So we cannot say that this programming is knowledge, will help you to get the job and all. So instead of that, you need require the basics. So you have to be very strong with the fundamentals. So while defining a variable with C programming language or C++ or Java or Python, so most probably the basic syntax will differs. So other than that, it does not make much more difference with that. So what is the thing that it requires means, what are the companies were adapting to the latest technology means we have to be update with our latest technology, but be strong with your basics. So the fundamental only gives you some more idea to you. Do you got it? Murali? Please use some presentation mode and to explain these MNC related issues also and student queries.
Yeah,
Students,
sure.
do you have any
Like
other doubts?
questions I can.
Yeah. Any other queries from your side, students? So one of our student is asking that Santosh is asked that
If you have
how can I easily learn the programming language?
Yeah.
Kindly give presentation and then give some more tips to them. So what are the points they have to be?
Yeah, sure. I think you're able to hear me, right? Yeah. So there's no we cannot say there's a structured way to be efficient in program language. The better approach would be start with very basic programs. They should take a problem statement and code it. And so after that, after a couple of minutes, then again you have to go with an intermediate problems and advanced problems. The more they solve, the better the programming. There's no structured way. If you do that like this, so you'll be very strong. There is nothing like that. The practice, the better will be. So because while you'll learn more things and you'll get an idea about to write the logics and everything. So based on the experience only. If you don't have any experience, then it's very difficult to write a program for a problem statement. I would
Yeah, come again, please. Students, do you have any doubts? On behalf of you, I can able to ask. If anything is like that, put in the chat box, or you can unmute and then you can ask directly to speaker. Students, do you have any doubts? Yeah. Aditya is asking a question. How much time does it take for learning a computer language from basic? So, I would like to check once, please. Mr. Murali, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah, one of my students is asking how much time does it take for learning a computer programming language from the scratch?
So as I said already, the standard time we can say one can learn in 2 months, and one can learn in 1 month itself. So it's completely depends upon how much effort you're putting to learn the language. So there's nothing like that. One you can say 1 you can learn, 2 months you can learn. It depends on how. Yeah.
Yes, Aditya, how much commitment you are doing the programming language will helps to learn in a fast time. So not only learning the languages, also you try to do a mini projects, even though it may be existing one, that will give you some more idea how the application will works, what are the things we have to be take care of and all. So, and the same thing, if you have these codes and deploy into that GitHub, like some social platforms, will help you to expose about yourself, which gives the MNCs have some more wide knowledge about your uh, projects and all. So that may be very helpful to you to get opportunities easily with an MNC, because if you have a GitHub profile, that it will itself will have a mark to you, that will be a positive sign. And as well as if you have some mini projects, and that means surely you will get to have opportunity with a priority also. So there is no time bound thing. So how much commitment towards your work will gives you a time to done. Okay, any other questions, students? Okay, Murli, I think we don't have questions. In case if we have questions like this, means you just give your email. Surely we will post our queries to you. That will help us to get some more wide knowledge about that. Currently, MNCs are looking for the vacancies. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
I'll post my email ID in the chat.
okay.
So if they
Okay.
have any questions, they can reach out to me.
Yeah, sure. So in the chat box, the speaker given his personal email, so you can reach out with him whether you have any doubts regarding to this, how to be get placed in this MNCs and all. So his name is called murali@gmail.com. Okay. So I would like to wind up this session. Okay, first of all, I would like to thank to Mr. Murali Yelavati to spend his valuable time with us and to explain all the queries which are related to any industries for the placement or for betterment of our students. So on behalf of RMD Engineering College, EEE Department, HODs, faculties and students, I would like to give a heartfelt thank to Mr. Murali Yelavati. Kindly wait, Uma ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, Murali, sir.